Goodman Reality and Truth Show. My name is Vanita Lambert, and I have the honor of hosting the show every single week to bring information to our community. I don't have a guest today, but I do have some really important information that I'm excited about sharing. I am an independent Medicare life insurance retirement planning specialist, and I absolutely love what I do because I'm able to help so many people. And that's one of the things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about your Medicare, and I want to talk about retirement. So I'm going to start with retirement because I just helped someone, one of my clients retire. And one of the questions they asked me was, should I leave my money in a 401k or should I transfer it to an IRA? And my answer to them was neither. And the reason for that is because your money is still in the market, okay, if it's in a 401k or an IRA. And if you see that little, when you get your statements back, you see the little flow chart where it goes up and down and up and down. That means when it went down, that means you could lose money. So when you're at the age of retiring or a little bit before that, when you're planning to retire within 3, 4, 5 years, you want to get really conservative and you don't want to lose anything, okay? So what I recommended is, let's just say, for example, you have a 401k plan. And let's say you have, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 that you've saved up over a period of, 30, 35 years, okay? And now it's time, you're turning 65, and now it's time for you to retire, so and all that money in your 401k, keep in mind you have not paid taxes on it. That's all pre-tax money that you get to save for your retirement. And what I'd like everybody to know is that when you retire, you don't have to pay taxes on the money right away. The worst thing you could do is take the money out and pay $1 million in taxes. It's a horrible decision. So sometimes when you retire, you get options. The options could be a lump sum, it could be a maximum payout, or it could be a spousal split. So that's one decision you have to make with retirement. Getting back to the 401k, it can be a 401k, 403b, or 457, whatever your pre-tax pension plan is. That money, when you turn 73, you're going to have to pay RMDs. And that RMDs are required minimum distributions, okay? And what I will do is explain all of this to you in the comfort of your home if you want, but I'd like to give you an overview. So RMDs are required minimum distributions. And what happens is when you turn 73, the Uncle Sam, our government, is going to make you take out required minimum distribution. So you have to take out, and they start with 4.4% the first year. So say you have $200,000 and you're taking out 4.4% year number one, and then year number two, it's going to go up to 4.8%. And then year number three is going to go up to 5.2%. So it goes up 0.4% every year. So what I'm trying to explain to you, while you're withdrawing this money, you could be withdrawing this money, you're required to take this money out whether it's a good year or a bad year, whether those lines are going down or up. Did you make money or did you lose money? You're still going to have to take out 4.4% of your total amount you have in there. So listen to this. That means that your 401k is a spend down contract. You could run out of money in 20 to 25 years. I've sat down with folks, couples, who had really great jobs. They had really good 401ks when they retired, and they didn't have the information that I'm going to give you. And they eventually ran out of money. in about 20 to 25 years. Their 401k is empty because they are required forever, as long as there's a balance, to take out that money and pay Uncle Sam his taxes because you didn't pay taxes on it before. So stay with me here. This is very, very important. It's not going to be the highlight of your day, but it's really important and it will help you sleep better at night. If you're able to take that money and make money off of it and pay your RMDs, and at the end of the day still have money left, how would that benefit you and your family? Or would you just rather keep your 401k because you're afraid to move it, or you think you're going to lose it and then run out of money? So it's good to have the information. And I would, I'll give you this information. I'll come to your house, sit down at your kitchen table, or you could come to one of my 2 offices in Farmington, and I also have an office in Shelton. And I will be happy to do a confidential needs analysis with you and your family, or just you and your spouse or partner or whatever, and go over and illustrate for you exactly how this works. So stay with me here. And I know it's hard to get your head kind of wrapped around this just by hearing it. So this is why I normally illustrate something out and I customize it. So it's not something I can give general information for everybody. Each plan is customized based on your age and based on your needs, your marital status, whether you're single, married, you have a family. So all those components come into play when I put together this plan. So basically, the plan starts at the age you retire, or the age you roll over the money, which could be 60. You don't have to wait until you retire, because most plans will allow you to transfer money at 59 and a half from your 401k. So let's take into effect that you have $200,000 in your 401k and you're ready to retire. You take that. The plan I'm talking about is that you take that $200,000 and you roll it over into another qualified plan, which means another plan where you don't have to pay taxes on, at age 65, okay, or 60, or whatever your age happened to be, which I will illustrate for you and customize the plan. And then what happens, that $200,000 gets a guaranteed 6.5% interest, compounded every single year. So you get compounding interest guaranteed of 6.5% interest. There are no more losses. It protects your principal balance. You will never ever lose a penny, and you will always gain 6.5% interest no matter what happens in the market, whether the market is doing well or whether we have another 2008 where everybody lost a whole bunch of money. You will still get 6.5% interest, okay? And this is an income contract that I would love to sit and illustrate with you. All you have to do is call me or text me or email. Okay, and now you get a guaranteed 6.5% compounding interest every single year. Your principal balance, you'll never lose anything. You'll always get the interest. Okay, and also on top of this type of contract, you will have a long-term care rider. They don't call it long-term care. Different contracts have different names. It could be an accelerated death benefit. It could be some type of indemnity plan. But basically, for you and me, it's a long-term care rider, which gives you money for a nursing home if you needed it. So that's included as a free rider. Okay. Also, with this type of plan, if it's 401k money, the contract can only be in one person's name, because you can't commingle 401k money. You can't non-taxable money. You can't put your wife on it or your husband on it. It has to be just in your name. So there'll be one owner, and then if you are married, your wife or your spouse, I'll just say, will be your primary beneficiary, okay? So we're going to make the spouse the primary beneficiary, and say you have two sons, like me. Then the two sons would be your backup beneficiary. Why am I going through all this? Because this type of contract has what we call a guaranteed lifetime income rider. So what that means is you take the $200,000 that you originally rolled over into the plan, and say you're 60, just say you're 63, just to make the math easier for me right now. Say you're 63 years old, and for 10 years, that money is gaining 6.5% interest, guaranteed compounding interest, and then you decide to take your income when you're 73, and on top of that, you also have to pay your RMDs. So by 10 years later, with 6.5% compounding interest, let's just say the $200,000 is now $400,000 in income. Okay, not the total balance, but it's grown to that amount for you to take income. So basically, at 73, what starts to happen is you pay your RMDs on the $200,000, not the $400,000. You collect guaranteed lifetime income off of the $400,000. Okay, and let's just call that, I don't know, say it's $50,000 a year for the rest of your life. If you live to be 150 years old, even if it exceeds your principal investment that you have in there of $400,000, you will collect that $50,000 every single year, or whatever the number comes out to be, which will be calculated based on your age and when you select the income. So everything is customized. This is just an example. And let's say, worst case scenario, you're 73, let's just say worst case scenario, you pass away at 78. I'm so sorry. That's so young, but let's just say you pass away at 78. Then your number one, your primary beneficiary, your spouse, will collect that $50,000 for the rest of her life, okay? Even if it exceeds the initial principal balance. And I know this is tough to follow, but you can get this information for free. I will drive anywhere in Connecticut, sit down, and explain this to you for free so that you understand what your options are and so that you don't have to ever worry about running out of money. So your wife will collect that money for the rest of her life. Now let's take it a step further and say worst case scenario, your wife passes away 2 years later, okay? She passes away and she's 80 years old. Whatever the balance is in your account at that time on the contract is multiplied for income. For income. Or for death benefit. That's what I meant to say. You also have a death benefit with this. A little complicated, but when you're looking at it, it's a little bit easier to explain. So your death benefit, whatever's left in that contract, then as your two sons will get the money as a death benefit. So this contract, it protects you, it guarantees a lifetime income, and it's also a death benefit. But the thing that is really, really exciting to me is that imagine never running out of money. Always getting, and if you pass, knowing that your wife will be protected or your spouse will be protected and never running out of money as long as they shall live. And if everybody's life, if you and your spouse life is cut short, then your children or your contingent beneficiaries, your backup beneficiaries will get this huge death benefit. So I always say this, and insurance is at the forefront of innovation. I don't know who I stole that line from, but it is so true. It's always evolving. There's always something new. I don't believe, this plan was available 10 or 15 years ago. And maybe that's why they implemented this plan and developed it, is because they noticed that, the insurance companies noticed that, these people were retiring and running out of money, their 401ks running out of money, and then you see 80 and 85-year-old guys and people going back to work, working part-time, chauffeuring, or, whatever it is they can do to help make ends meet until, the end of their life. Because believe me, Social Security will not be enough to live on. I mean, Social Security alone. So if you're working and you have, even if you're not ready to retire, let's just say you're 50 or, 55, it is so important to get the information so that you can plan what's best for you. And I offer you this information for free. There are no annual fees, okay? It's just, I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. I can't imagine anything better than this to do with your money after working all of this time. And keep in mind, the original amount of your 401k, I think we said it was $200,000. You will pay RMDs on the $200,000. So each year, it'll be 4.4, the next 4.8, 5.2, 5.6, and so on and so on. But the income that you earn, you will not pay any RMDs on that at all. You will collect it annually. You get a guaranteed lifetime income rider, and say it's $50,000, which I think we said, then you will pay taxes on $50,000 as if you earned it, and not paying the huge 4.4% of the $400,000. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Okay, if you're confused or if you have any questions, give me a call. I'll be happy to sit at your kitchen table and go over this information. I think it's so important to understand what you have and understand how to make it work for you and your family. And it's very important. I know it's a question that keeps folks up at night. Do I have enough money to retire? Will I run out of money? How much am I going to spend for health care? Which is what I'm going to go over next, if I have enough time. But I wanted to definitely give you this information about rolling over your 401ks and how it works and how you can make it work for you and still have your original amount, if not more, left, and never ever have to worry about running out of money again based on when you take your RMDs or when you decide to take income. This is so vitally important to understand. And like I said, if at the risk of redundancy, I'll say it over and over again because I sat down with people that had great jobs. Now they're 20, 25 years later, their 401k has dwindled down because they didn't know how to protect themselves. And they own a house and a car, and they don't qualify for the Medicare savings program. And their health is starting to deteriorate a little bit because as we get older, our bodies are frail, we develop things, and we get sick and we need help. So they're right over the threshold of qualifying for any state assistance, and they basically cannot afford to go on vacation after working their whole lives and saving all this money to watch it go away. So I urge you to get the information. I am from the east side of Bridgeport, where we did not have this information. I knew nothing about retirement planning, financial literacy, nothing. So that's why I give this information out for free. And I talked to one of the 401k companies. I actually called with my client. I actually called to have the money transferred from their 401k to the income plan that I just explained to you. And so while I was on the phone, they actually tried to conserve the business while I was on the phone. So they asked my client, would you like to hear about our offer or our products or benefits or whatever. And so the client said, yeah. I was like, sure, you want to get more than one opinion. So they explained everything to him, and the bottom line was he would have to pay $1,500 every single year just to have them service his account, okay, that I just explained to you, which there would be everything is included in this contract. There would be no additional $1,500 fees. And another thing, they could not guarantee that he would not lose money. So I was able to, with this plan, guarantee that not only would you not lose money, but you are guaranteed 6.5% interest every year for the life of the contract. With this unstable market, last couple of weeks, market's been doing great. Who knows what's going to happen next month? And when you're retired, you don't want to lose a bunch of money. Like the people that lost all this money in 2008, it took them, 5, 10, 8 years to make that money back. And then who knows that there wouldn't be another loss. So secure your money, secure your future, and secure the type of lifestyle that you want to live. And, give me a call if you want this free information on how to protect yourself, how to protect your family, and how to protect your nest egg. It is so important to know that information. Also, when to take your Social Security. Another thing about Social Security is you can't leave that to a beneficiary. Either you take it or you lose it. So if you're 100% retired, and say you retire at 62 or 63 or even 64 before your full retirement age and you are not working, my advice would be to take it. Because if you don't take it and something happens to you, your wife won't get a penny of it. Well, I guess she could, opt to take hers or yours. But what I'm saying is that you cannot will that to your children. But if you lived only a couple months after taking Social Security and then you pass away, then, it just goes back to Uncle Sam, and that's what happens a lot of times. So, and another thing is, if you wanted to wait until you're your full retirement age, say at 67 or 70 years old to take your Social Security, how much are you going to lose during that waiting period, and how long will it take you to make that up, okay? It could, I could run a report, just put in your date of birth and let you know exactly what's going to happen and how much you're going to lose if you don't take your Social Security. So retirement is very important. It's your final season, and I would recommend that you sit down with a licensed retirement specialist like myself that won't charge you anything, let alone $1,500. Get all the information that you can and then compare it. Get a second opinion, because this is really, really important. This is your retirement, and you want to make sure you get it right, because once you retire and you get your exit package from your company and you sign on the dotted line, it's irreversible. You cannot make any changes later. You can't say, oh, well, I changed my mind. I don't want to take the lump sum. I want to take the maximum monthly, or I want to take the spousal split. You don't get that opportunity to do that. Okay, so you have to make sure you get it right. So if you're retiring or if you're turning 65 and you need information on Medicare, which I want to go over Medicare Part B, the A, B, C's, and D's of Medicare, which I don't think I have that much time left. I probably got like a few minutes, but I am going to go over it really quickly with you. So if you're retiring and you don't have the healthcare package from your retiree plan and you need to go on to Medicare, there is Medicare Part A. When you turn 65, if you work 10 years or 40 quarters in this country, then it's an entitlement. And Medicare Part A covers the hospital only with a annual deductible. And I will go over that with you as well if you don't have any co-insurance. And then Medicare Part B covers all of your doctor visits, medical supplies, and things like that, tests, Medicare Part B covers 80% of that, and there is a monthly charge for Medicare Part B, which is $174.70 for 2024, and it kind of changes every year. And that only covers 80% of your doctor visits and tests and medical supplies. Then you're responsible for covering the other 20%, okay? And next time I do this, I'm going to have some slides to show you so you can get a good idea about what I'm talking about. And like I said, I'll be happy to come out and show you this information for free. But you're responsible for covering 20% of that. And you could take two ways to cover that. You could go the traditional Medicare supplement route, which can be very expensive because you're going to pay your Part B, you got to pay for the supplement, and then you got to pay for Part D. Or you can take your Medicare Advantage Part C route, which covers all of that. Most of the Medicare Part C plans are zero premiums, and it has the Part D included, and it has your supplement included, and it's managed by healthcare companies, private healthcare companies like United Healthcare, Aetna, and your doctor has to be in the network, okay, and it has fixed copays. So we will get into that next time. I really didn't have time, but listen, I'm on YouTube. Share this information, and I'll be happy to provide it to you for free. Thank you so much for your time. This is the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show, and we're on your side.